Go deal with those issues, but that's not the focus of your life. That's not what controls your happiness. That's not what controls you. Hi, my name's Devin. Today I own several multi-million-dollar companies. We started with $5,000 in a credit card. I don't know the easy way. I only know the hard way. Hey everyone, welcome to the Whiteboard Entrepreneur podcast, where I give straightforward advice to fuel the entrepreneur in all of us. And today I want to talk to you about the myth of pressure. The myth of pressure. And I'm going to relate this to pressure, stress, anxiety, whatever that means to you. So I'm a soccer coach, and as you can tell, I'm always kind of amped up. I have a lot of energy, but that often converts into anxiety, right? Like I always want to win, always like driving and put pressure on myself. And I will tell you, as much as I love my season every year, I would tell you each year I get super anxious, right? Like I'll wake up in the middle of the night at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. and just thinking about things that I can't control, right? And I'm thinking about things about soccer that like I love it, right? But like, why am I allowing this to like cause this, what I love, something that I love being a blessing in my life, turning into this curse that kind of an anxiety that sits in your stomach. Some of you guys probably know what I'm talking about, that like, that nauseous pressure, that feeling. And probably right now, some of you guys can relate because there's probably some pressure, some stress, some anxiety sitting on you right now. And so this season, I determined that like, I'm going to deal with this. I don't want to live like this the rest of my life. And I've struggled with this since I was in high school. Like before games, I used to throw up before every game because I would get so amped up and so much anxiety and nerves. And I'm like, listen, this has gone on long enough. Like I can't do this anymore. So I started reading books. I started getting help. And honestly, one of the best things that helped me, as silly as this was, or as silly as this sounds, was a TikTok by Deion Sanders. So many of you know Deion Sanders, Primetime. His name was Primetime, called himself Primetime. He was a quite gregarious character in the NFL years ago when I was growing up. And he today is a football coach, and he had an incredibly successful year. He's always been a very confident person. And he's gone through some ups and downs in his life. And I'd say now he's really trying to turn himself into a good role model for people. And they were asking him in an interview, they're like, "Hey, Deion, hey, Primetime, do you feel pressure?" And this is a TikTok that I watched. It was the video clip of this. And he goes, pressure. And you have to understand Deion, like, he's like, pressure? What are you talking about, pressure? He goes, we play a game. He's like, we play a game. He's like, there's no pressure. He's like, at the end, somebody wins, somebody loses. And you know what? We go home and we live our lives, but it's a game. He's like, how can you let pressure, anxiety, stress ruin a game? And I was like, I needed that. Thank you, Deion. Thank you, Primetime. That's exactly what I needed in my life. And so I started applying it to myself as a coach, but it applies to business as well. And you say, well, no. Deion said it's a game, right? Business isn't a game. Come on, man. Like, business is a game. Like the reason you became an entrepreneur, the reason you're in business is you want a challenge, right? You're out there doing something. You're taking on a challenge. You're trying to grow. You're trying to improve. You basically, it's kind of a game. And you say, well, no, it's not a game. It's how I put food on my table. That's true. Like, listen, I get it. But let me ask you something. If your business went away tomorrow, are you going to have food on your table? Probably. Are you still going to have a place to put your head at night in your bed? Listen, if you live in the U.S., I'm going to guess probably. Like the reason you got into being an entrepreneur or chasing your dreams is because you wanted a challenge. And so what happens is we allow this challenge in our life that we chose for ourselves to cause this anxiety and this stress and this pressure that begins to control us and take the joy out of life. And what started as a blessing, because I know you, I know how entrepreneurs are. When you started this, you were so excited. You left your job. You were telling everybody about your new company, and it started out as this blessing. And then all of a sudden you started getting success, and all of a sudden things didn't always go exactly the way you wanted to do. And so now all of a sudden it starts to get anxious and stress and pressure and all of these things. And all of a sudden you took what you were so excited about, what you wanted for yourself, the dream that you had for your family, all of these dreams, and you turned them into an anxiety, a burden, a stress, pressure in your life. And this is something that you chose, that we choose to do to ourselves, because like Dion said, it's a game. Like, why are we allowing a game to cause pressure and stress and anxiety in our life? And so more things I started doing, like, so I'm a Christian, and there's a verse that talks about that, you know, when you have anxiety, to give prayer and petition and thanksgiving. And so I was thinking about this, and I was like, this is how I'm going to deal with anxiety. When I have something that I'm anxious about at work, something that's bothering me, a stress, a pressure, a lawsuit, employee issue, we're not hitting our numbers, whatever it is, this anxiety, this pressure, whatever it is that woke you up in the middle of the night, I've decided that I'd pray about it. I'm going to give it up. And then you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to choose to list out things that I'm thankful for. And you know what? When you start listing out all of those blessings, all of those things that you have to be thankful for in your life, you know, for me, like I was thinking about soccer, right? Because I love soccer coaching, and I get anxiety and stress about the next game. And then I start going, you know what? I'm thankful that I have the time to coach, because for 20 years, I didn't have the time to coach. I'm thankful that I get to do it with my son. I'm thankful for my team. Oh my gosh, many of them I've got to coach and say we're this big. I'm thankful for my alumni. I'm thankful for, you know, that game that we won. I'm thankful for that game that we lost. I'm thankful for this hilarious memory. I'm thankful for the overnight adventure that we had. I'm thankful for the hilarious thing that happened the other day at practice. I'm thankful for all of these things. And I start listening to all of these things that I can be thankful for. And all of a sudden I go, it's a game. Why do I have this pressure, this stress, and this anxiety? Because I will not allow something that has been a gift, something that's a blessing in my life, to be turned into a curse. And that's what we need to do in our business life. That's what we need to do when we're pursuing our dreams, is that we can't allow these things that are pressure to take the joy and strip the joy out of your life, because you will start to create these patterns in your life. Because just like a coach, you go from one game to the next game to the next game. So what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Be stressed out every single game, every single season for the rest of my life, and create these patterns, and I'm always living under this anxiety? What are you going to do as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, someone who's pursuing your dreams? Are you going to have this anxiety that you go live your life from one anxiety to the next? Oh, good, I took care of this anxiety. Now what's the next thing I can be anxious for? What's the next thing I can be stressed for? What's the next thing that can make me lose sleep? What's the next thing that can steal the joy out of my life? And we go from anxiety to anxiety instead of blessing to blessing, thankfulness to thankfulness. And in your business right now, there are things to be thankful for. In your life right now, there are things to be grateful for. In your life right now, there are things that you need to take the focus off of these pressures, and you need to put them on the things that you need to be thankful for. Now, I'm not telling you not to deal with the issue. I'm not telling you not to stop putting your head in the sand. Go deal with those issues, but that's not the focus of your life. That's not what controls your happiness. That's not what controls you. And so we have to change the way that we think and the way that we operate within our business, and choose to focus on those blessings. Listen, and here's the other thing. If you can't deal with these things now, what happens when you go to the next level, right? Because at the next level, you ever hear the expression, new levels, new devils? Well, I'm not sure I necessarily agree with that, but I would tell you every time that you go to a new level in life, there's going to be new stresses, right? The other day, I had to sign a check for $90,000 for a lawsuit that was dumb, bogus. It shouldn't have even happened. I will tell you this. I didn't lose an ounce of sleep over it. Not one iota of sleep. I will tell you this, 20 years ago when I first got into business, I had a small little legal issue that I think cost $1,500. I was losing my mind. I didn't sleep for an entire weekend. But as you go up, you have to learn how to deal with these things. I wasn't thankful. I wasn't happy that I wrote that check, but that was not what controlled me. I said, listen, this is something that I have to deal with. I guess I'll just have to eat the frog on it, right? Like, it is what it is. is. We did what we could do. We were diligent. We didn't bury our head in the sand. We took care of it. Boom, done, over with. I'm not focusing on that. I'm not focusing on what I lost. I'm focusing on what I gained. I'm focusing on how we had a great week. I'm focusing on how we got this new project that we're working on. I'm focusing on the fact that I get to go home with my family at night. I'm focusing on the fact that I've been blessed with this business that I can write the check. Listen, it doesn't mean that everything's all gumdrops and lollipops. It's not. Right? There are things in our life that are not pleasant, but you cannot allow those to control your life. You cannot allow those to sit inside of your stomach and churn your stomach and make your heart skip palpitations and wake yourself up in the middle of the night with panic attacks and sweat, because that is stripping the joy from your life. That is anxiety controlling you instead of you being focused on the things that you have to be thankful for your life. Dion said it so well when he said, pressure, what's pressure? This is a game. And this is a way that we need to live our lives. Thank you, Dion. I needed that for me. I hope you get something out of this for you. This is a Whiteboard Entrepreneur. If you can apply these principles to your life, I know it'll help you.